In the late 16th century, Europe is a battleground of faith and ambition. Spain, under King Philip II, stands as a colossus, its wealth drawn from New World conquests, its navy unmatched in power. Philip II, a man of stern resolve, sees England as a thorn in his side. Under Queen Elizabeth I, England thrives as a Protestant nation, challenging the Catholic dominance of Spain and its allies. Elizabeth, a queen in her mid-40s with striking red hair and piercing blue eyes, embodies defiance. Her very existence is a challenge to Philip, and she supports Protestant rebels in the Spanish Netherlands. The tensions between these two nations escalate. England's privateers, like Sir Francis Drake, launch daring raids against Spanish treasure fleets, striking at the heart of Philip's empire. Spain's wealth flows from its colonies, but with it comes the burden of maintaining dominance. As the Spanish Armada is conceived, Philip dreams of crushing England's spirit and restoring Catholic supremacy. Across the English Channel, the atmosphere thickens with anticipation. England, though smaller and poorer, is determined to resist. The fate of nations hangs in the balance, poised on the brink of war. The religious divide deepens, with Spain viewing Elizabeth as a heretic. Philip's ambitions are not merely political. They are a crusade to reclaim lost souls and territory for the Catholic Church. As the two powers prepare for inevitable confrontation, the seas become the stage for their conflict. The ocean, a vast expanse, will witness the clash of empires and ideologies. Philip's resolve hardens. He sees Elizabeth not just as a rival, but as a usurper whose reign must be ended. The ambition for conquest fuels his plans, and war seems unavoidable. In England, whispers of invasion circulate. Elizabeth rallies her people, reminding them of their strength and unity. The spirit of defiance ignites, but fear lingers in the shadows. As the winds of war begin to stir, both nations brace for the storm ahead. Will England's resolve be enough to withstand the might of the Spanish Armada, or is disaster imminent? In the spring of 1588, King Philip II of Spain sets his sights on England. With a vision of conquest, he authorizes the construction of the largest naval fleet the world has ever seen, the Spanish Armada. More than 130 ships gather, each one a testament to Spanish ambition. These vessels are armed to the teeth, designed for boarding combat, and built to intimidate any enemy that dares oppose them. Command of this formidable fleet falls to the Duke of Medina Sidonia, a nobleman with little naval experience but unwavering loyalty to the crown. His resolve is tested as he prepares for the daunting mission ahead. The plan is audacious: sail through the English Channel, rendezvous with Spanish forces in the Netherlands, and escort an invasion army to England. The stakes could not be higher. Spain believes its victory is inevitable. The Armada is not just a fleet. It is a symbol of Spain's might, a floating fortress poised to unleash its power upon England. As the Armada readies to set sail, the atmosphere is thick with anticipation. Sailors clad in worn uniforms share tales of glory, their faces reflecting both excitement and fear of the unknown. In England, the news of the Armada's assembly sends ripples of anxiety through the court. Queen Elizabeth I knows that one misstep could mean the end of her reign and the Protestant faith. The Spanish Armada sets sail in May, its ships gliding across the water like a great beast unleashed. The sight is awe-inspiring, yet it carries with it the weight of impending doom. As the fleet moves forward, the tension mounts. Each ship is a fortress, but they are also vulnerable, reliant on the winds and the sea for their strength and direction. The Duke of Medina Sidonia, despite his lack of experience, feels the weight of his responsibility. He knows the eyes of Spain and the world are upon him as they venture into hostile waters. With every passing day, the Armada draws closer to its destination. Spain's hopes are high, but lurking in the depths of the sea and the hearts of men is the uncertainty of fate. As the threat of the Spanish Armada loomed, England's naval preparations intensified. Queen Elizabeth I, a determined woman in her mid-50s with fair skin and auburn hair, rallied her forces, embodying the spirit of defiance against tyranny. English commanders, including the seasoned Sir Francis Drake, a stocky man in his 40s with a weathered face and piercing blue eyes, drilled their crews relentlessly. They knew that speed and maneuverability were their greatest assets against the larger Spanish fleet. The smaller, faster English ships were designed for long-range gunnery, allowing them to strike swiftly and retreat before the Spanish could board. This tactical advantage became the cornerstone of England's defense strategy. Coastal beacons were lit along the shores, ready to signal any signs of invasion. These fires, flickering against the night sky, represented hope and vigilance for a nation on the brink of war. Cannon crews trained tirelessly, their hands blistered and faces smeared with gunpowder. Each shot fired in practice brought them closer to the moment that could determine the fate of their homeland. Amidst the preparations, Elizabeth rode among her troops, her presence a source of inspiration. She spoke passionately, her voice echoing with conviction, urging her soldiers to defend their faith and freedom. The atmosphere was charged with a mix of fear and resolve. England's smaller navy, though outnumbered, was united by a fierce determination to survive against the might of the Spanish Armada. As the days passed, the urgency of the situation grew. Elizabeth's court buzzed with discussions of strategy, while the common people prayed for deliverance, their hopes resting on the shoulders of their navy. Drake, ever the strategist, devised plans that emphasized agility over brute force. He understood that England's survival depended on outsmarting the enemy, not merely matching their strength. With each passing day, the tension mounted. The English fleet, though smaller, prepared to meet the Armada with innovative tactics, ready to defend their homeland at all costs. As preparations reached their peak, England stood at a crossroads. The nation was ready to face its greatest challenge, knowing that survival depended not on numbers, but on courage and cunning. In July 1588, the Spanish Armada, a formidable crescent of over 130 ships, enters the English Channel. Its massive galleons, adorned with the Cross of St. James, sail under a heavy sky, ready for conquest. English ships, smaller but swifter, shadow the Armada like hawks. Commanded by seasoned captains, they dart in and out, unleashing broadsides while evading the looming threat of boarding. The clash begins. Gun smoke hangs thick in the air as the English cannons roar. Each volley aims to inflict damage, but the Spanish discipline remains unbroken, their formation intact. Days stretch into a relentless struggle. The channel transforms into a battlefield, waves crashing against hulls, echoing the sounds of cannon fire and shouted commands across the water. The English crews, driven by desperation, reload their cannons with fervor. Each shot fired is a testament to their resolve, a fight for survival against overwhelming odds. Spanish captains, trained in discipline, bark orders to maintain formation. Their ships glide through the water, seeking to close the distance and board their elusive foes. The battle rages on, with neither side yielding. The English ships weave through the chaos, their cannons firing in rapid succession, while the Armada presses forward, resolute. Amidst the chaos, the sea itself becomes a player in this conflict. Rolling waves toss ships, and the weather shifts, adding an unpredictable element to the fierce engagement. As the days wear on, fatigue sets in. English sailors, faces drawn and weary, continue their relentless pursuit, knowing that the fate of their nation hangs in the balance. The struggle in the Channel becomes a test of endurance. The relentless gunfire and the crashing waves blur the lines between victory and defeat, as both fleets fight for dominance. With each passing day, the stakes grow higher. The English know that they must prevent the Armada from reaching its rendezvous, as the consequences of failure would be dire. As night envelops Calais, the Spanish Armada lies anchored, its massive galleons silhouetted against the dim glow of lanterns. The fleet, proud and formidable, seems invulnerable, but English commanders plot a desperate strike that could turn the tide. Under the cover of darkness, English ships, smaller and swifter, prepare to unleash a bold plan. The fire ships, laden with flammable materials, are set adrift, their fates intertwined with the Armada's destiny. The fire ships drift silently toward the Spanish fleet, their hulls glowing ominously in the night. The tension hangs heavy in the air, as both sides remain unaware of the impending chaos. Suddenly, the fire ships ignite, flames roaring to life as they collide with the Spanish galleons. The night sky erupts into a fiery spectacle, illuminating the chaos that ensues. Panic spreads through the Armada as Spanish captains scramble to cut anchor lines. The once organized fleet dissolves into disarray, their proud formation shattered by the unexpected assault. As dawn approaches, the flames flicker out, revealing a scene of confusion. The once mighty armada, now scattered and vulnerable, drifts helplessly in the waters off Calais. The English commanders, witnessing the chaos unfold, realize the significance of this moment. Their gamble has paid off, but the battle is far from over, and the armada still poses a threat. The disarray among the Spanish fleet creates an opportunity for the English. They prepare to capitalize on the confusion, readying their ships for the next phase of the conflict. Yet amid the chaos, the Spanish crews rally. Their resolve is tested, but they are determined to regroup and defend their honor, even as fear grips their hearts. As the sun rises higher, the aftermath of the fire ship attack becomes clear. The Spanish Armada, once a symbol of invincibility, now faces a critical turning point in its mission. With the Armada in disarray, the English forces prepare to strike. The battle for control of the Channel is far from over, and the fate of nations hangs in the balance. As dawn breaks over Gravelines, the air is thick with tension. English ships, sleek and agile, prepare for the onslaught, their crews focused and resolute. Cannons are loaded, and the scent of gunpowder fills the air. The fate of England hangs in the balance as the Spanish Armada, battered yet formidable, looms in the distance, ready to engage. This is a moment that will echo through history. The first shots ring out, a cacophony of thunderous explosions. English cannons unleash their fury, striking the hulls of Spanish galleons. The sound reverberates across the water, mingling with the cries of sailors. Smoke rises, swirling around the ships as the battle begins in earnest. Each side knows that this clash will determine not just their survival, but the future of their nations. The Spanish ships, though damaged, respond with fierce determination. Their crews, a mix of seasoned sailors and noblemen, work to regain control. The Duke of Medina Sidonia, a tall man with a weathered face and dark hair, shouts orders, but confusion reigns. The once mighty formation begins to fracture under the relentless English assault, each ship becoming a target in the storm of cannon fire. As the battle rages, the English fleet capitalizes on their speed and maneuverability. They dart in and out of range, firing broadsides that tear through sails and rigging. The sea churns violently, becoming a treacherous ally to the English. Each cannonball fired is a testament to their resolve, and with every shot they inch closer to victory, their spirits buoyed by the unfolding chaos. The Spanish crews fight valiantly, their bravery evident as they attempt to close the distance for boarding. Yet the English firepower proves overwhelming. Rigging is shredded, and hulls are breached. The once proud armada, designed for intimidation, now finds itself struggling to maintain cohesion. Each ship becomes a battleground, the sea itself a chaotic force driving them into one another. Amidst the chaos, the English commanders, including the seasoned Sir Francis Drake, rally their men. Drake, a man in his 50s with a rugged face and piercing blue eyes, inspires his crew with shouts of encouragement. The camaraderie among the English sailors grows stronger as they witness the disarray of the Spanish fleet, igniting a fierce determination to press their advantage. As the sun climbs higher, the tide of battle shifts dramatically. The English fleet, emboldened by their initial success, intensifies their assault. Cannons roar, and the sound of splintering wood fills the air. Spanish ships, now disorganized and vulnerable, struggle to regroup. The once unified armada is splintering, each ship fighting for its own survival amid the chaos of war. As the day wears on, the English fleet capitalizes on the disarray of their opponents. The sea, once a battleground, now acts as a weapon against the Spanish. Ships collide, and the cries of sailors echo across the waves. The once mighty armada is now a broken force, struggling to maintain its presence in the face of relentless English firepower. By the end of the day, the Spanish armada is shattered as a fighting force. The invasion plan, once so meticulously crafted, lies in ruins. Yet the battle is not over. The remnants of the armada are still afloat, and the English know they must remain vigilant. The tide of war has shifted, but the struggle for survival continues. With the clash at Gravelines drawing to a close, both fleets are left to reckon with the consequences of the day's violence. The English celebrate their hard-fought victory, but the specter of the storm looms ahead. Nature, unpredictable and fierce, will soon intervene, and the fate of the armada is far from sealed. The battle may have shifted, but the war is far from over. The remnants of the Spanish Armada, battered and disheartened, sail northward, seeking refuge from the English coast. The once mighty fleet, now reduced in number, struggles against the relentless tides of the Atlantic Ocean. As the Armada ventures into the treacherous northern seas, ominous clouds gather overhead. The air thickens with tension, and the ocean churns violently, foreshadowing the chaos to come. The first gales strike with ferocity, tossing the ships like toys. Sailors scramble on deck, their faces etched with fear and desperation as they struggle to maintain control amid the raging storm. With each passing hour, the storm intensifies. Waves rise like mountains, crashing against the wooden hulls, splintering masts and sending men tumbling into the churning sea. As night falls, the storm shows no mercy. Ships collide in the dark, their crews unable to see through the sheets of rain. The once proud Armada is now a scene of chaos and despair. Survivors cling to the wreckage, their faces pale and gaunt, as they wash ashore on the rugged coasts of Scotland and Ireland. Hope fades as they confront the harsh realities of their fate. The Atlantic has claimed thousands. Entire vessels vanish without a trace, swallowed by the unforgiving sea. The once invincible Armada is reduced to mere whispers on the wind. For those who survive the storm, a grim fate awaits. Captured sailors face execution or imprisonment, their dreams of glory shattered by the merciless hand of nature. What English cannons could not achieve, the Atlantic has completed. The storm has wrought devastation upon the Armada, leaving behind a trail of destruction and despair. As the storm finally subsides, the few remaining ships drift aimlessly, their crews haunted by loss. The fate of the Armada is sealed, but the echoes of its struggle will resonate for years to come. The defeat of the Spanish Armada reverberated across England, igniting a wave of national pride. Queen Elizabeth I, now a symbol of resilience, stood before her people, her presence commanding and inspiring hope in a time of uncertainty. As news of the Armada's demise spread, England transformed. Shipyards buzzed with activity, craftsmen laboring to build faster and more powerful vessels. The spirit of innovation thrived, setting the stage for a new era of exploration and maritime dominance. With England's survival secured, Elizabeth's government shifted focus to overseas ventures. Adventurers and privateers, emboldened by victory, set sail for distant lands, seeking riches and glory, eager to expand England's influence across the seas. The defeat of the Armada shattered Spain's aura of invincibility. While still a formidable power, its grip on Europe weakened. English merchants and sailors began to challenge Spanish dominance, paving the way for future conflicts and rivalries. In the years following the Armada's defeat, England experienced a cultural renaissance. The arts flourished, with playwrights and poets drawing inspiration from the newfound sense of identity and strength, forever changing the landscape of English literature. The impact of the Armada's defeat extended beyond the realm of politics and culture. It ignited a spirit of adventure among the youth, who dreamt of distant shores and uncharted territories, eager to carve their names into history. As the years passed, England's naval power grew exponentially. The establishment of the Royal Navy became a priority, ensuring that the nation would never again face the threat of invasion from the sea, safeguarding its independence. The legacy of the Armada's defeat resonated through generations. It became a defining moment in English history, a catalyst for the rise of a maritime empire that would span the globe, shaping the future of nations. Today, the waters of the English Channel remain a silent witness to the monumental events of 1588. The echoes of cannon fire and the cries of sailors have faded, but the impact of that summer endures in the identity of a nation. The Spanish Armada did not merely fail, it altered the course of history. England emerged not just as a survivor, but as a rising power, ready to embrace the challenges and opportunities that lay ahead.